Welcome. In this video, we are going to look at one of the most widely used structural patterns in software, the layered or n-layer architecture. You have almost certainly built code that uses it without necessarily having a name for what you were doing. By the end, you will be able to recognize it, reason about its trade-offs, and decide when it is the right tool for the job. Imagine a code base where the button-click handler runs a SQL query, formats the result, and also sends an email. There is no separation. Everything depends on everything else. When the database schema changes, you hunt through UI code to fix it. When a business rule changes, you find copies of it in 5 different files. This tangled state is sometimes called a big ball of mud, and it is the pain that layered architecture directly solves. Think about a well-run restaurant kitchen. The front-of-house staff talk to customers and hand orders to the kitchen. The kitchen cooks and calls on the pantry for ingredients. No one skips a station. The waiter does not walk into the cold store, and the supplier does not plate a dish. That clean separation of responsibility, where each layer only calls down to the one directly beneath it, is exactly the intuition behind layered architecture. Here are the 4 layers you will see most often. At the top sits the presentation layer. It handles everything the user or an API caller touches. Below it is the business logic layer, which owns every rule and decision about your domain. Below that is the persistence layer, which translates your in-memory objects into something a database understands. And at the bottom is the database layer itself. The arrows flow downward. Each layer depends only on the one directly beneath it, never upward and never skipping a level. Follow a single request top to bottom. A user submits an order form. The presentation layer receives it, validates the raw input, and hands a clean data object to the business logic layer. Business logic applies domain rules, checking inventory, calculating the total, and then asks the persistence layer to save the result. The persistence layer maps that object to a SQL statement, and the database stores the row. The key consequence is separation of concerns. Each layer can change independently as long as it keeps its contract with the layer above. There are 2 flavors of layered architecture. In strict layering, every call must pass through each layer in order, no skipping allowed. That keeps boundaries crystal clear but can mean writing thin pass-through methods just to relay a call. Relaxed layering lets an upper layer call a non-adjacent lower layer directly. That reduces ceremony for simple read operations, but in practice those shortcuts tend to multiply until the architecture looks tangled again. Most teams start relaxed and regret it, start strict and relax intentionally where the data genuinely justifies it. Layered architecture is a safe, well-understood default for most business applications. Start by drawing the layer boundaries before you write a line of code and define the contract each layer exposes to the one above it. The most common mistake is letting business logic leak into controllers or SQL queries. Keep it in the business layer. And watch out for the sinkhole anti-pattern, where most requests just fall straight through every layer without any real work happening in them, which signals you may have too many layers for the problem at hand. Let us pull it all together. Layered architecture solves the tangled dependency problem by stacking focused slices of responsibility and enforcing a one-direction dependency rule. Each layer has a single job and only talks to its immediate neighbor below. Strict mode keeps those boundaries airtight. Relaxed mode should be a deliberate exception, not a habit. It is one of the most practical patterns you will reach for, and knowing its trade-offs will help you apply it with intention.